The Who and How Club is in a paid partnership with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the sponsor of this episode, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. BetterHelp is a platform where therapists and their clients can communicate effectively and get the most out of therapy. Starting therapy is easy with BetterHelp. Fill out a questionnaire, and you'll match with the therapist in as little as a couple of days. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you ever have any questions. You've all been following me on my journey to therapy through my online highlights and even throughout countless episodes of the show. I've shared, my experiences with having two therapists, how long it really got me to get into therapy, throughout my entire life, growing up through the foster care system, not knowing who my father was, and certain life challenges that I went through. I shut down the idea of having a therapist or going to therapy every chance that I got. But it took a certain situation and occurrence that happened a couple years ago at work that presented itself as a bit traumatizing, that forced me into finally trying therapy out. And that experience didn't just help me, deal with that traumatic thing that happened at work. It actually helped me overcome some of the sadness and pain that I was keeping inside of me throughout my teenage years and my adolescence and even through my early adult years. So therapy really helped me, and I'm actually thinking about trying therapy once again for this year. So if you're struggling and think you'd benefit from a therapy session, go to betterhelp.com/whohow or choose whohow during sign up and get 10% off your first month of therapy when you use the Who and How Club's code. Once again, that is betterhelp.com/whohow, and you'll get a nice discount for your first month of therapy, and that's a 10% discount. All right, don't be afraid to try something new, especially for this new year. Start early and set a new tone. Once again, that's betterhelp.com/whohow, as in the Who and How Club, WHOHOW. That is the code to get your discount. All right. Now start your journey just like I have, and let's get to today's episode. Welcome to the Who and How Club. And I'm your host, and your club leader. Arys Déjan. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Who are you? Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? Let's figure it out together, huh? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Who and How Club. Welcome back. It's a brand new year. It's 2025. And I just want to say welcome back, man. Shout out to everyone who made it through the storm of 2024. Let's get some hand claps for everyone who made it. If you're like me, you're patting yourself on the back right now because you know how last year went. It was a crazy time for me just as much as it was for you. So hand claps to all of you who made it and who are here with me right now listening and taking this in. It means you survived. Now, we could discuss what time really means and how relative that is, and is it even a real thing, how much of a construct it is, etc., etc. But if we're moving, in these societal norms and whatever the universe has already laid out for us systemically for our day-to-day existence, time exists. So we're acknowledging the 12 months that have just passed and us surviving this new shift, this new transition, I guess, into a new year and where we're about to go and where we are now. Pat yourselves on the back. Stay positive. Remain true to yourselves and understand that, you're going to go through some tough things, tough times and all of that jazz. But staying in and hanging in there is what really matters and counts, right? So without further ado, as you all know the slogan, you are the Who and How Club, I am the Who and How Club, and we are the who's and how's of this world. Without you, without me, there is no we. So while we're all here together, let's just sit and talk and pick each other's brains and learn something from one another. Because if you take some time to just have a conversation with someone, especially someone you barely even know or even know at all, you'll find that you actually, can learn something. You can learn something from that individual or from that group of people if you just sit and listen, A lot of people want to communicate and they think that it's all verbal. Communication, they hear that term and they jump to the verbal aspect of communication, but communication is auditory as well. You got to listen. You got to really take in someone and try to understand. You may not be able to understand them right off the bat, which is okay, but you attempting to try is one step closer, and it means you actually care about another person's perspective and where they're coming from and their experiences when you at least try to understand someone. We have to see ourselves in each other. You know what I mean? If I don't see myself in you, how will I ever respect you or have manners towards you or just treat you the way I expect to be treated? You know what I mean? We have to think about these things and really dissect these ways of life and approaches when we're interacting with one another and working with one another, building with one another, whether it's in the relationship format or friendship format or even your day-to-day work, We spend a lot of time at work, at our quote-unquote 9 to 5s. And if you just sit and pay attention, look at how people treat each other. Look how people in upper management might treat people beneath them in lesser roles, I guess, or what some may consider that. I'm using those terms lightly. No one is above anyone. No one is beneath anyone. But within that structure, you'll have people who are at higher levels, and then you have people who are at lower levels or levels that are considered to be lower. Everyone has a boss, right? Everyone reports to someone. So just pay attention. Look at how those individuals treat people, treat each other. Just the work dynamic, we really gotta, be a bit nicer to one another, regardless of the levels that we're at in our roles and titles. And, even for myself, when I'm courting a woman or have someone in my life who is special to me, I pay attention to her. I pay attention to not only how she treats me, but how she treats others, how she treats the waiter, the server, the janitor. It's hard for me sometimes because if I'm sitting with my woman, it might come off as disrespectful if I'm not really feeding into a server's energy, let's say a particular female server energy, because I used to be a server at some point in my life, and I have a radar. I know when someone is flirting with me or trying to get my attention, and I'm not going to feed into that when I'm with the woman or the lady that I'm out with. So I tend to let the lady that I'm with, kind of run the show when it comes to ordering food and, because I don't want to get into that messy stuff. So, but overall, when someone is serving me or waiting on me or, someone who just holds the door for me, I say thank you, I say please, I say bless you when someone sneezes. Like, these are some of the foundational things that I was taught, and I do my best, to treat people with respect and treat people as equals, regardless of their titles or roles, gender, etc. So we have to do that for this year. We have to do that for 2025. Not just go out of our way to treat people better and treat ourselves better, but pay attention to how other people are treating others and maybe, hold them accountable and maybe call them out. You might find a manager being really rude to their subordinate and how they're expressing themselves and communicating, and that's not nice. I think the days of just sitting down and watching stuff go down should come to an end. You know what I mean? And we need to just be nicer to one another and be more respectful and kind. And I know we're all going through our own things in our own personal lives, and sometimes we bring those things into the workplace. We bring those into our relationships and friendships. And believe me, I'm guilty of that. But I'm doing my best to work at that so that I do not do that anymore. I want to keep things separate and deal with my emotions in a different way, in a different space. Work is work. And I'm there for a few hours a day, and, I'm going to grind it out and put my energy towards that. Like we could separate these things, compartmentalization. I think that's the proper term. So I say all of that to say, again, just welcome to 2025. To all my club members, the ones who are just listening in to for the first time, and those who are returning, I appreciate all of you. Welcome to the club. And this is what we do. This is the space where we speak about who you are and how you became the who that you are today. Now, again, in reference to 2024, it was a bit of a year for me. And I'm going to dive into that in some of the upcoming episodes. Not to reflect and fester and live in the past, but maybe to just share with you all what my 2024 was like. You know what? Let me just share it now. Instead of waiting, let's just cleanse ourselves and get rid of it now. Why wait for a few episodes and, spreading this energy across the board? We want brand new energy, but we do want to be honest about things that we experienced last year. Last year was a creative year, but not as creative as we wanted it to be. Because, there were so many barriers. There were so many things that were kind of getting in the way emotionally and spiritually and mentally. I feel like I lost myself a little bit last year. I was involved with something that I never thought I would be involved in. And I went to a level that I never thought I would get to in my life when it comes to relationships and stuff like that. My heart was really, really sad for majority of the year last year and a bit disappointed from the things that I was experiencing and going through and honestly putting myself through. I could have stopped 100 times, but I didn't because I cared and because, I went with my heart. I loved, I wanted things to be different. But every time I was shown that different just wasn't possible in this particular situation. So, I put myself through the ringer and I thought that I could still come out strong. And I still, I was present for many events last year, but I think content wise, I didn't get a chance to create as much content as I wanted to. I wanted to build my platform, the network and everything like that. And I just didn't get a chance to, but today's a new day and we're going to, build around these structures that I've already put in place and these pillars, and we're going to build them up and really build these platforms this year. So just a message to you all, you're going to go through things. Last year I ran a session at PodCamp 2024 talking about take a break but don't break, and I have had to take my own advice with these sessions. When I bring a session, like an idea about a session to a group of people, whether it's at an event, a conference or whatever, I'm speaking to myself as well. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just making these things up and just trying to preach or teach. In fact, I go into these environments so that I can learn from others and soak some new information in. It's not just about me. I am an expert at what I do, but so are the people that I'm speaking with. I'm not speaking to them, I'm speaking with them. I'm there for them, and I know that they're there for me. My sessions grow more and more every year, and I'm truly grateful for that. And of course, this year will be no different, and I'm excited for this year's PodCamp conference for 2025. So, keep a lookout for that announcement and some announcements on new projects and stuff that I'm working on and that I've already written down and laid the foundations for how this year is going to go. Another piece last year that really broke my heart, and it's not that far ago, not that long ago. We're less than a weekend into the new year. So this just happened on the last day of November of 2024. You all know I've spoken about Apollo countless times on my show, and he's been in the background like a special guest, making noise, doing his little thing. He would make noise every time I would start recording, but prior to recording, he'd be as quiet as an angel. That was just him being funny, and I really miss him, but he had to leave us, unfortunately, also the week of his birthday. Today is January 5th. His birthday was a month ago, December 5th, and he left us on the last day of November. So, yeah, I'm recording this on January 5th, but you all will get this on the Thursday, which is January 9th. because I record on Sundays, and I submit it to the sponsor and all that jazz. So you all get it on Thursdays. But yeah, it's been a month since Apollo's 5th birthday would have happened, and just a few days before that, I had to put him down. He had some issues with his kidneys, and yeah, the clinic that I found, they really tried everything that they could to, keep him alive and work with him and stuff. And I'm truly grateful for that experience, because a lot of the times, I even experienced this with bringing him in for some checkups and stuff like that. It seems like some of these clinics, they really don't care about the animals. They care more about the money, and they care, some of the doctors, they don't really know what they're, oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Guys, forgive me. Guys and girls. Sorry. I had some tea, so I'm a bit, gassy or whatever. So, but yeah, some of the doctors, they don't really care enough to look further in. It's like they give up quickly, or they just care about the money. I went to a clinic, and yeah, it wasn't a good experience. Let's just say that. So on his final day, which was extremely emotional for me, and I, thankfully I had the support present that I needed in a moment like that. Apollo was my first pet, real first pet. I've had guinea pigs and stuff, and they don't live long either. But a dog just has a different kind of effect on you. I mean, I cried the same for my guinea pig, so not trying to lessen the sadness there when a pet passes, but Apollo and I, we had a lot of time together, and he chose me. And he was connected to the family. My cousin Jojo, who's been on the show, she came with me to get Apollo, to pick him up, to see him before we even grabbed him. Like, we were around a sea of puppies and Basenjis and stuff like that. And it was just a beautiful bonding experience, not only for Jojo and I, but also, my first dog, and it was a wild 5 years. And, from the beginning, he had issues. And I know the breed, they tend to have some challenges and stuff like that. So I would still recommend getting a Basenji. They're very unique. They're very beautiful. They're quiet, and they love to sing, and they're fast, and they have such a unique personality. And I would call him 100 names. He wasn't just Apollo. He was, I would call him Mouse or Deer. Like he was like a little reindeer with his legs and stuff like that, and big ears. And I would call him, Pablo Escobar, or, just different nicknames that went with Paul, Paulo, not just Paulo or Apollo. Just, yeah, it hit me. So, I don't know what the universe wanted me to. You question things sometimes, right? You're like, why am I going through this? Why? This is the last thing I need right now. Like, I've already given so much of my emotions and my tears this year. Why? And when your dog passes, you just develop a different type of approach and outlook on life, and you become a bit calmer and understanding your like. I think everything I've ever had inside of me just released on that medical table that day. And I haven't cried since. I haven't been sad, because I know he's with me. I asked him to stay with me, and I've seen him. He's been in my dreams. Sometimes at my place, I might see him in the corner, like something, passes my eye, and I know that it's him. And I have his paw print, on a sheet of paper, but also like on a plaque, in its own little plaque. And it's like a big stone or whatever with his paw. I didn't take the ashes. I felt like that would have been too triggering for me. But yeah, he's sitting on top of the mantle, and he's still here. So, that was the closer for 2024 on my end. But we're still here. We're still smiling. We're still grateful for the experience, and we understand that not everything is permanent. Things happen, things come and go. Things are in your life 1 minute, and sometimes they're not, and that's okay. What matters most is staying strong today and not allowing that thing to shape you in a negative way. Still having hope. Maybe one day I'll get another dog. I don't know. Right now, it's too soon. I like to coexist with animals. I love animals and animals love me. And I have a different kind of relationship with them. So I would love to get something in my place, whether it's like a bird or I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't thought that far ahead. But I'm not even thinking about anybody else or having anyone else because Apollo's still in my heart. So, with that said, I just want to let everyone know that, this year is all about what you make it. You have the power and the control and the energy to, have things go the way that you want to go this year. We can't control everything, obviously. Things will happen. But focus more on what you need this year and not what you just want. We want things. We always want, and we try to obtain these unrealistic things and we stress ourselves out and we push ourselves, but just focus on what you need. Think about what you already have, in fact, and be grateful for that. Utilize what you have. Utilize your skills. Utilize all of the materials that you probably already have in-house that will help you to create and bring your ideas and dreams to life this year. Don't just jump ahead without a plan. Write things down. Bring your ideas onto the paper. Don't just type it in your phone or make a note on your laptop. There's something about, writing things down from your brain. It's from your heart, from your brain, down, through your arms to your fingertips onto the page, and it's like you're being prophetic in that sense. You're manifesting your life, like you're going to see these things come to reality this year if you do it that way and really sit and envision what you want for yourself. So what I'm planning to do is be in my most creative space ever. I'm going to push myself to different limits. I'm going to, the things that I didn't get to do last year, I'm going to do them this year tenfold. I'm going to break boundaries and get outside of my comfort zone and just be who I am, which is a creative being. I'm Arys and I love to express myself. I was stressing out about what the new intro would be for this year and all that jazz. And I said, let me just record it myself. I was looking up some AI stuff and maybe figuring out, thinking about bringing people together once again, like I did for a previous intro. But I'm like, no, I have everything that I need in myself right now. And I just got creative today. And that's the intro that you all hear right now at the top of the show. So that's going to be the new intro for the year. We still got guest spot episodes that we haven't released yet that we're going to get out. We have some new guests coming soon, and I have a new setup coming as well. And I'm gonna start doing my solo episodes more visually, and getting that visual bag out the door. And I got music coming, and then we're going to get back into modeling and all that jazz. I just want to build platforms, and I want to be outside this year, New year, new we. It's a new year, new we. Club members, it's all of us. It's not just about me. It's not new year, new me, new phone, who this. No, it's about us. It's about we. Without you, without me, there is no we, like I say every episode. So this year is about us. It's about we. It's about you and I maneuvering through the system, the creative spaces that we want to be in, really presenting ourselves, growth, understanding, communication, building, just being present. Don't focus so much on the future. The most you could do is at least maybe for the week. Tomorrow, tomorrow's not promised. And the past, to live in that, that would just be senseless, because that's come and gone, and we can't live in the past. We can only utilize it as a tool to learn how to operate in our present and to not repeat the same mistakes. And we got to plan for our future. That's all we can do. We don't have control over either or, but the present, right now, in this moment that I'm with you, I have control. And you're with me as well. You're listening to me. And I'm truly grateful for it. Without all of you, the show, this platform, the Who and How Club, the upcoming The Who and How Network, the upcoming shows that I'm going to be producing. Like, none of these would exist without all of you. So I'm grateful, and I know you're grateful for me as well. So this year is for us. So let's make it about us. Let's really focus. Let's hone in on our skills and use what we got. New year, new we. All right? I'm going to sign off. This was just a quick check-in. Top of the year. Happy New Year to all of my club members, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know, we're here, and we're not going anywhere. New year, new we. Let's kill it. 2025, it's on us. We'll talk in a week, all right? 1.